we take religious liberty for granted, but in other parts of the world, it is not seen as a God-given right. Earlier this month, Saudi Arabia's notorious religious police arrested more than 50 Ethiopian Christians at a private gathering. The Christians' only crime, apparently, practicing their faith. With more on the story is FoxNews.com's Benjamin Weinthal, whose article is now posted on the Fox website, and Benjamin joins me now via Skype from Berlin, Germany. Welcome, Benjamin.
Thank you for having me.
Well, we hear about these things so much, about religious persecution in countries of heavily Muslim countries. What is the latest on this group from Ethiopia?
What we know is in early February in eastern Saudi Arabia, the religious police raided a private home and arrested as many as 53 Ethiopian Christians, and they've been detained. And that's what we know at this point. The Saudis in Washington at their embassy have thus far not responded to Fox News press queries, and it's a repeat offense from the Saudi government, because almost an identical raid took place in December during Advent 2011, where a group of Ethiopian Christians were also arrested and imprisoned for 7 months. They were tortured, and the women were sexually abused. After increasing pressure from human rights groups, Christian organizations, and the U.S. government, the Saudi government released that group of Ethiopian Christians in August of 2012.
I want to read you a quote by Dwight Bashir's U.S. Commission of International Religious Freedom. He said the U.S. should demand that any expatriate worker detained and held without charge for private religious activity in the kingdom should be released immediately. That is a quote that's coming from the U.S. Is anything being done after that, after he said that?
We're waiting for a comment from the U.S. State Department on the case. The State Department did comment recently after Fox News sent queries about the arrests of a Christian family in Egypt who converted from Islam to Christianity, and they were sentenced to 15 years. But in the Saudi case, the U.S. government, for a whole host of reasons, has taken the State Department has taken a very gingerly, hands-off approach. The Saudi government is immersed in a wave of persecution of Christians, and it's somewhat inexplicable right now that the U.S. government is approaching this.
I wanted to ask you, though, you've got two of these cases involving Ethiopians. Are they the ones being targeted mainly, or are there other nationalities that are also being targeted, other Christians?
There are other Christians in the region. One has to recall the quote from the Grand Mufti of Saudi Arabia in March of 2012, when he announced all churches in the Arabian Peninsula should be destroyed. So you've got millions of workers in the Gulf region, from Roman Catholics from the Philippines, Ethiopian Christians, who face this type of persecution. There's virtually no independent reporting in the region, so it's very difficult to ascertain other cases. But I think we're just dealing with the tip of the iceberg in terms of this type of religious persecution in Saudi Arabia.
Benjamin, I want to thank you very much for talking to us about this particular case. Obviously, there are many more cases out there, and you can read more about Benjamin's account on FoxNews.com. It's the Saudi religious police arrest Ethiopian workers for practicing Christianity. That is on our website right now, so check that out. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll obviously be talking about this a lot more in the future. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.